I put up a post and it said, women who be like, don't depend on a man for nothing. And it said, no sis, you don't depend on your man, my man come through. And so many women, especially black women, were bothered and felt the need to DM me in regards to them feeling like you wrong if you depend on a man for anything. But that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to depend on the person that you were in a relationship with. Imagine giving yourself physically to someone, but you can't depend on them. Now, I'd like it better if someone said, I can't depend on my dude, but to say I can't depend on any dude is insane to me. Because your dude's not doing what he's supposed to do for you. You shouldn't even be with somebody that you can't depend on. You shouldn't even be in a relationship with somebody you can't depend on. You shouldn't be entertaining a man that you can't depend on. Now, it's not saying that you can't do for yourself. It's not saying you shouldn't be able to take care of yourself. It's saying that you should also be able to depend on that man. You know how backwards that is? I'm going to sleep with you every night, but I ain't going to ask you, but I'm not going, I'm not going to depend on you for anything. That's great. If you're in a full committed relationship, an engagement or a marriage, a long-term relationship, you should be able to depend on your spouse. And the idea that you think you shouldn't have to because you could do it yourself. Nobody never said you can't do it yourself. But the fact that you would let someone be inside of your body that you can't depend on is insane to me. And women get offended when I say things like this because those are the women who allow a man to be all up in their bedroom, all up in their house, cooking him food, cleaning for him, or even not doing that, but can't depend on him. I don't want to entertain any man that if I'm in a full relationship with you, that I can't depend on you. Why are we entertaining each other in this way? So when women have this idea that they're stronger because they're independent, no, you're weaker because you can't be vulnerable enough to allow someone else the space to depend on them. And it's always, and please don't get me, I don't want anybody to be offended when I say this, but it's always African American women. It's always an African American woman who feels like, I don't need a man for shit. If you keep that mindset, you grow up and you teach your sons that. Like, your sons are listening to you say, I don't need a man for shit. Your daughters are listening to you say, I don't need a man for shit. And then we wonder why we grow up in the generations and relationships and monogamy is getting worse and worse because we're teaching our children that there is no value from the man that we call king. We don't need you. Don't depend on nobody for nothing. No, you have to depend on someone for something. And if it's not going to be the person you laying up with, then who else? Because that man sure in hell depend on you. Come on, ladies. It's always African. It's always an African American woman who want to come in my DMs. It's always an African American woman who want to come on. And I'm not knocking African American women. I'm saying it lets me know what the culture is teaching us. It lets me know how society is failing the African American women when they have convinced you that you don't need the African American man to do shit for you. And then we question why men treat us like we don't have value. And then we question why men do this to us and why they're not this for us and why we can't depend. Because you have this concept that you don't need them. Imagine being a 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid hearing your mother constantly say, I don't need a man for shit. Like, I'm going to grow up to be a man, Mom. I'm going to grow up to be someone's husband, someone's father, someone's boyfriend. And that you mean to tell me that woman don't need me for shit? Then I'm going to grow up, that dictates my life. So I'm tired of women feeling like, and verbally saying out loud, be independent. You don't need a man for shit. Why can't you be both? Like, why can't you be independent and be able to take care of yourself while still depending on that man to be a man? You know, everybody has a need. Everyone in this world needs to feel wanted, needs to feel appreciated. They want to feel necessary. And as an African American man in this world, society is already against these men. And now the women are telling the men, we don't need you. I could do it all by myself. Stop thinking that. Yes. 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 You could say something.
I just feel like what you're saying, it's like, can I say it?
Yeah.
You have a valid point, but at the end of the day, there are men who treat black women as if we're not, as if they don't need us. So
yeah, there are men.
So
this is Casey in the car, guys.
So when black women do say certain things like, you know, we don't need y'all anywhere, when they say something like that, you know, it's always something that, you know, it goes both ways.
Right. Black men need black women, and like, just people need each other. But but then the idea behind that is that we have to start accepting when we're wrong. And we have to start accepting when we're taught wrong. And we have to start accepting when society, or start to not accept when society pushes us against each other. So just because you do something doesn't give me the right to do it back. It's still wrong. Regardless of who did it first, if a black woman tells a black man, I don't need you, and a black man tells a woman, I don't need you. I don't need you to cook for me. I cook for myself. You can be independent and still depend on each other. Regardless of who does it first, it harms all of us. It harms all of us. And I'm tired of people feeling like a woman who depends on her man is weak. There are still women who are stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home wives, who have nothing but the utmost respect from their spouse, because staying at home is a job. Staying at home is a job. Anybody who's ever been a stay-at-home mom or a wife, that is a job. You have a job to do every day. Because stay-at-home women who don't work are expected to have breakfast done. You know, they're expected for the house to be clean. They're expected for this to be this way and this to be this way. Because that's what they chose. I don't want to get up every morning to go to work. I like to just stay home. She depends on her man. I don't like when women make me feel bad. Like, okay, so I have my Facebook fan page, right? And I posted that flyer up, that meme on my Facebook fan page, right? And somebody said, you need to depend on God first, because for all you know, there's 4 other women depending on your man. And what bothered me was it was a man who said that. It wasn't even a woman. It was a man who said, you need to depend on God first and not no man, because for all you know, that man got 4 other women depending on him. Let me tell you something. I'm still new into my relationship, but I will praise whomever, however, immediately. I don't wait to show someone appreciation because it's not on your timeline.